Hello, everyone. How are you today? I'm Rachel Tessman from stampyourartout.com, and I'm here to bring you another live paper crafting class. It's Wednesday, February 8th at 11 a.m. Central Time as I am coming to you live. A big welcome to all of you. Please like, subscribe, share, all of that stuff for me. I really appreciate that. And a big welcome if this is your first time being live with us. I hope that you enjoy what I have to share. There's a couple of you that are saying happy stampiversary. You caught my blog post. Yes, I am celebrating 23 years today as a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. It's been a very fun journey. Crazy. I've been looking through old photos. I only made a couple albums in my past years about conventions and things that I've gone to. And I was peeking through them and I'm like, oh my gosh, it was so much fun. So anyways, yay, 23 years. But welcome everyone. In this video, I'm going to be sharing how to make a center of attention, quote unquote, center of attention fun fold type of card. I named it that because I didn't have the time to look to see what other names had been given to this kind of fold. So let me know in the comments if you have heard or if you've seen this before and you actually know an official name to it, because then I can, call it the right thing in the future. But we're just calling it center of attention. We're going to be using the Country Floral Lane suite of products that are that's from the mini catalog that's currently active, the January through April 2023 mini catalog. You can find it. It's one of the first suites in the catalog. Right away, you can see that it looks very Valentine-ish, very lovey-dovey-ish, right? But just know that you can make more than, just Valentine's with this suite. I know that the colors are screaming Valentine's and stuff, but I'm going to make a green version of the card, and it's actually a friendship type of card. I could see you doing baby cards with the gingham paper. I can even see wedding cards and that sort of thing. It's versatile, in other words. So don't give up on this suite once Valentine's Day is over. All right, so we're going to be using that suite. And if you're watching, join in on the chat during the live. You can log into your Google account, your YouTube account, and join in on the chat. If you're not logged in, you're not going to be able to chat. That's basically what it comes down to. And if you see Trisha Joseph's name come around in the live chat, she is our moderator. Her name stands out a bit. If you have questions, she's your gal. Ask her, and you can tag her by typing the @ sign and then immediately start typing her name. If you're on Facebook watching live, you can sit back and enjoy or join in the chat. And Lisa Marshall is our moderator there. So I've got two gals helping at both ends of the live. So thank you, gals. Thank you, Lisa, and thank you, Trisha. If you comment or you share the video and you comment that you shared the video, you're going to get entered into a prize drawing at the end. And so I hope that you do that, because it's more fun for me to stamp with people when I know that you're out there. If you're sitting back and watching, sometimes I don't know that you're there, right? So I really enjoy when you chat, when you chime in. So, and thank you. Again, you guys are wishing me congrats. Thank you so much. All right, so let's see here. Let's move on to the supplies and measurements and dive into this project. I'm going to pull up on my computer screen here a little view of the PDF. And this is something that you're going to be able to print off. So this video is being recorded at 11 a.m. It's going to go into a blog post that goes live at 3 p.m., so about 4 hours from now. And it's going live a little bit later than normal because I am involved in the blog hop today with my all-star group. Every around the first Wednesday of each month, because if the first is on the first, we don't do it. But anyways, the first Wednesday of the month is typically our blog hop. And we do it around one of the suites that we're featuring in our video bundle, video class bundle that we put out each month. And it's an exclusive bundle of videos that you can purchase or you can earn by ordering. But you can also get in on our blog hop and see pretty much twice as many projects, because we each do another one in that blog hop. So today at 3 p.m., come back and visit the blog post. There's a link in the description of the video, and there will be on Facebook. And then you'll be able to follow and see all the other people in our All-Star group sharing different projects with this suite. So as you've taken a peek at this PDF and you know that it's going to be available in the blog post, you do not need to do a screenshot, but you certainly can. You can see photos of the finished card that I'm going to share. You can see why I called it the center of attention card. It's just got that focal point right in the middle. And then you can see the measurements, the supply list. I did add some clear blocks in the supply list and the scrub and mist, because those are sometimes just givens for me. In fact, a lot of these things are given. I typically write a very detailed supply list. It's even more detailed today because I want beginners to know that you can do this. Okay, if you're a beginning paper crafter, you can do this. You don't have to own it all. The tool that's major in this one is basically a punch. In the US market right now, the punch is on back order, though. I just have to tell you. Sorry about that. So you're going to have to wait on the punch. And the gingham paper is also on back order. But those items will come back and be available again in the online store soon. I think the punch is about a month out and the paper is only like 5 days out. The rest of the stuff is available. So take a peek at that. Beginners, I hope that you stick around and enjoy what we have to share today. All right, so I'm featuring the small grid paper. I love the small grid paper. It takes up less space. It's great for people who use paper pumpkin kits because, you know, paper pumpkin people sometimes do it on the go or they have a tinier desk area. You know, it's basically just a nice size for doing your minor little amounts of stamping. You don't, you know, you need the bigger grid paper sometimes, but this is a nice size. Here's the finished card. And you can see why I called it, again, the center of attention card. So when you fold it, you can actually press this down in the middle. See how it kind of pops out like that? So you can press it down, and then you can push these tabs to either side, or you can make them go opposite of each other, right? Or you can even close it like this. So you can take and just envelop it by bringing those side flaps in. I have forgotten to grab my envelope. Hang on, let me grab that. That was the one supply. I remember saying to myself, Rachel, you got to grab that. Okay, so these are packs of basic white envelopes. They are the A2 size. And when you fold up your card this way, you can see it will fit into the envelope like that. You can also fit it in like that. So, you know what I mean? So fold it either way and it'll still fit. Okay. You need envelopes. When you make cards, we need envelopes. I don't always mention those either. All right. Yay. It's so fun to see so many familiar names. Thank you so much for chiming in, you guys. It's fun to see your names roll through. Okay. So you can see we need the heart punch on here. We do not need the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, although it's a really cool tool. But again, beginners, welcome. You can do this. We're going to make a fun fold card. Okay. So here we go. We're going to take our thick basic white because our thick is great for card bases. So we're going to go ahead and cut it in half. So our 8.5 by 11 is being cut in half this way at 5.5 inches. So I've just brought it to the trimmer right to that 5.5 inch mark. And this is flush to the top. And now I'm going to push my blade up and through like that. Okay. And I love that you guys tell me where you're from. Tell me about the weather too, because it's so fun to hear all the different kinds of weather that's out there. You know, like in Australia, people are having like summer months right now, right? It's just crazy. Okay. All right. So now we're going to take and we're going to score, but we're not going to score like you normally would. I mean, you can see that there's this score down the middle here. And actually, I forgot another cut. Hang on, we're going to do another one. Normally, you would score your paper at 4 1/4, which is half of 8.5. We're going to make this card a little bit narrower. So we're going to bring it to the 8 inch mark. We're going to cut off a half of an inch so that there is a 1/4 of an inch less on each side. Okay. So now if we have an 8 inch paper and we were just going to fold it in half, you guys know that you would score it at 4 inches. There is a mark that goes through the middle here at 4 inches, but it doesn't go through this section. And even though it's covered up with paper, when we flip it over so that we can write on the back side of the card, we don't want that score line going through there. So this is the order of scoring, and I did give you the initial scores on the PDF, and then I said refer to the video for the rest, because it kind of goes back and forth and back and forth. All right, so here we go. 2 inches in on each side. So 2, and then you're going to score at 6, which is the same as flipping it over and scoring at 2 again. And I'll show you that. So 2 and 6, and if we were to do 2 and 6 this way, you can see there's that score line we just did at 6. So it's 2 inches in on each side. Now we're going to take our card base and we're going to turn it in this direction. And you can see on the Stampin' Up! Trimmer that we have measurements on both sides of this channel. The channel is where you cut. So we're going to use this side over here because it's easier to hold on to my paper. So we're going to cut at 1 1/4 inches. 1 1/4 is where we're going to position this. And I'm going to make sure I'm right here. Hang on. Got a little ruler off to the side. Yes, it's right. Okay, so 1 1/4 inches. We're moving it to that spot right there. And we're going to cut between the score line that we just made here and the score line that we just made here. So we're going to cut between those two. You can do that with a trimmer like this because you've got this arm that can lift up and down and start the cut in any spot. So we're going to start the cut right here. This is our scoring blade. We'll just push that out of the way. And we're going to cut from that mark up to that mark. And if you want to know where you're going from on this ruler here, it's from the 6 mark to the 2, which makes sense because of where we scored before, right? Okay, now we're going to flip it around and go the opposite way. Do the same thing. So we're bringing it to the 1 1/4 inch mark over here, and then we're going to cut from the 6 to the 2. Okay, so between the 2 score lines. Now we're going to lift it up, and we're going to make some score lines going this direction. We've got our cuts. We don't need to make any more cuts in here, but we're going to make 2 more sets of score lines. So this next one is going to be at the 3 inch mark. So we're going to bring this edge to 3 inches, and we're going to score from the cut to the cut. Okay, so we're going to go from, and let's move the cutting blade out of the way. We're going to bring our scoring blade in, and we're going to score from cut to cut, which is 4 1/4 inches to 1 1/4 inches. And you're just going to press down, and then you're going to flip it around, do the same thing on this side. Bring it to the 3 inch mark, and then we're going to go from cut to cut. And I have to say, the comments before the live went, I heard a couple of you predicting what I was going to wear. Many of you were right. I'm wearing green today. My mint macaron green, or in real life, I think it's more like soft seafoam. But okay, so we've got our score lines there now. And now we just need to make 2 score lines right through the middle. So remember what the middle mark is. The middle mark is 4 inches, because this is 8 inches now, right? So we're going to take our scoring blade, and we're going to go from the bottom up to that 4 1/4, and then we're going to lift this. We're going to bring it back down at the 1 1/4 and push out and away. All right? Better late than never, right, Sue? Okay, so now you can see where our score marks are, and I'm just going to start pressing on them so that you can see how they form the card. It's pretty cool. Okay, so you can see the cards start to form. And now we just need to make those creases even more intense. Let's keep this trimmer here because we're going to do all the other pieces. We're going to fold this one in. I'm going to grab my bone folder. Bone folder, it's not a necessary tool, but it's nice to have. I would say the trimmer comes first. All right, and then we're going to score on this side and fold that in. And now these two will go the opposite way. But be careful when you're folding them because you don't want this to get all off kilter, right? So as you fold that, you're going to squish this section down, and you can crease that and crease that. Then you can press all of these, press on all the score lines, even flip it over and give some good creases through the middles and all of that. Just make sure that it can lie flat because you want it to be able to fit into an envelope, right? Okay, so there we go. And that's why I called it center of attention, because really that little spot in the middle is on display. I'm going to show you a couple of other versions of cuts that I did just because I was experimenting. So I took an 8.5 by 5.5 inch piece. So this one's a little bit longer. As you can see, I left that extra 1/4 inch there, but the scores and all of that are off a little bit. They're a little different. And when you fold it flat, these little parts kind of go over the edge. So it didn't work quite well. So I was playing around with it, you guys. I was playing to see if we could get a 5.25 by 5.5, 4.25 by 5.5 inch card. This one, I believe, worked. Yes, this one worked. This is another 8 inch wide piece. Okay, so it's 8 inches. And what I did is I adjusted it so that this flap was larger in the middle. But that's really a lot more complicated to cut and score, just, you know, giving you the heads up. But you can kind of see where I went with that. This one has a score that's like it's not, you know, it's not lined up. It's not one complete score. So it's a little bit more back and forth and back and forth. Okay, but it gives you a larger display area. And then I also have a couple other versions of the finished cards. So I'm going to show those to you now, and I'm going to tell you that towards the end of this week, I will show them on my blog with their supply lists and information. So this is my little bunny card. We did this one at the Silver Elite Retreat, which was a couple weekends ago. It was really fun. This is using celebration paper. That's the farm-themed celebration paper. With that really cute Easter Bunny stamp set and some sequins from the For Everything Fancy Sequins, the green pack. And then here's the back side of that. The back side of this one is very similar, except I used a white base, obviously. And on the front of that one, I used the carrot stamp set from the Celebration offering. So, yeah, so there's a couple other versions of that card. All right, let us move on. We need to now cut some of the designer papers. So we're going to bring in our suite. We have that suite called the Country Floral Lane. This is the Country Bouquet stamp set and the Country Bouquet punch that again is on back order. And then we have this gingham, because there's actually 2 packs of designer paper in this suite. But I'm just going to show you the gingham one, because that's all I have. I don't have it all. I wish I did. I just can't afford all of it, right? But here is the gingham paper. You can see the patterns on one side. It has 4 colors that are highlighted in this pack of paper. We have Sweet Sorbet, Balmy Blue, Petal Pink, and Mint Macaron in that order. And then on the back side, you can see that they're not exactly back to back with the exact same colors. That's so that if you really love one color, let's say you really love the green. Well, look at this. Hey, there's a few more sheets of green, right? So you can make sure that you've got your fill of your favorite color. I thought that was pretty smart of them. We're going to grab the one that has the diagonal patterns that are thick lined and thin lined. And I've got some scraps over here too, so I may have to pull from my scraps. But we're going to use those. And we're also going to be using the pastel adhesive back sequins in all the colors. So we're going to just make this card. It's going to be almost monochromatic, and then boom, lots of little fun, colorful sparkles in it at the end. To make it monochromatic initially, we're going to use a paired color with the Mint Macaron. We're going to use Shaded Spruce, which I think looks really great. It's a darker version, a darker green version of that mint color. So let us start cutting some of the designer paper now. So the designer paper, as you can see, we need 2 of the thinner lined sections on the back, and then on the front we need thicker lined sections. So let's go ahead and take and cut these. They the sections are 2 inches wide, remember, because this is 2, 4, 6, 8. So this section needs to be just 1/8 of an inch smaller. Yes, great for masculine cards, Nancy, I agree. When you get away from the florals and you're doing more patterns, especially lines that are, you know, ginghamish and, I don't know, argyle-ish and all of that, it works great for masculine. So we're going to bring this not to the 2 inch mark. but we're going to bring it back a couple notches here on the inches or imperial measurement section to an 1/8 inch back. This is the line right here that will show 1 7/8, and we're going to trim 2 sections that wide, and then we want it to fit the front of the card, and this is 6 inch by 6 inch paper, so we want to go to the 5 1/2, but then bring it back 2 small notches to the 5 3/8 inch mark. Okay, so we're looking right here, and we're going to trim them. We can trim them both together because it's thinner than the thick cardstock. We can set that off to the side. Here are 2 panels that go on the back of the card, and for the front of the card, remember we need 8 pieces that are going to go in this direction. Do you see though that we've kind of got a flow of the pattern so that we don't have it looking like it's jumping up and down. So when we cut, we want to watch to make sure that our patterns are looking the same. Do you see how far away this white diamond shape or square turned on its side, how far away that is from the top of the edge of the designer paper? We want to do that consistently on all of them. But that section is 2, 4, 6, 8, and we only have 6 inch paper. So when we cut, we want to cut so that we are, and we're going to cut 1 1/8. So we're bringing it to 1 1/8, which again on the other side of the trimmer would be easier, right? 1 1/8 inch. And we're going to slice. And then we're going to turn this strip and we're going to line it up to see which side it looks best with. And really on this pattern, it looks good with any of those sides. So I'm going to cut another strip, 1 1/8. And you know what? We might as well keep going with this one being on top, right? So we can cut another strip maybe from that section. Okay, let's just do this. Maybe we should have cut opposite sides first. I don't know. We'll see. Let's see. 2, 4, 6, 8, 2. I think we can do it with these strips. I think we have enough. Do you guys? We might need one more. I think we need one more. I should have just cut 2. Okay, that'll work too. Look at that. So we got lucky on this. But when you do a pattern, make sure that you've got your pattern looking consistent. Okay. In other words, this doesn't match up as well. Do you see how high up the white squares are if I flip it that way? But if I flip it this way, they're all pretty much at the same level. And we're just going to check and make sure those are all kind of, yep. All right, we're going to cut them at once. And we're going to go to the not 2 inch mark, but to the 1 7/8 inch mark. This might be too thick, but we're going to give it a go. Hey, it worked. Okay, so we've got those. And this one's going to be a little bit too small. Oh no, it's perfect. We'll keep that one. I don't know how we got lucky on that. Okay, and then stack these again, line them up. And we'll do one more because I don't know how many we need. We need 8. We need 8. All right, and keep all of them in the same direction. It's going to be easier in the end. How many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yay! Okay. We need 2 more pieces. And the inside of the card measures 2 inches wide here by 3 inches wide there. So we want to go just slightly under. And we're going to use our dark one first. 3 back 1/8 inch. So this one's going to be 2 7/8 by 1 7/8. And then we need another one. And instead of going 1 7/8, we're going to go to the 1 3/4. So we're going back another 1/8 inch. So if we're doing 1 3/4 this way, we're going to go 2 3/4 this way. Okay, lots of trimming, lots of little pieces, but you are going to love the results. So you can really decorate your cards however you... Did I mess up, Tina? She goes, do as I say and not what I do. I must have messed up somewhere. I'll have to rewatch the video. But yeah, what was I looking for? The samples over here. You can decorate the front of your cards how you want. Like here, I put panels over those sections on the front of the card. And on here, I did it across the top and across the bottom, right? Also, on this card, I didn't even put a middle section. So it's up to you how you want to do it. This one just is the mint macaron cardstock showing in the middle section. But I put panels on the sides and the top and bottom to kind of highlight it, and then the strips along the side. So you can choose. My thought is go 1/8 of an inch for the difference, though, if you're going to be cutting different sections. Now we need some scraps. So we've got all our base pieces ready to go, but we need some scraps. And we're going to start doing some stamping because we want to stamp our art out. So I'm going to take my white scrap, which I didn't grab. Where did it go? Here it is. We'll just use this one. And I'm going to trim it actually because we have a punch. I'm going to trim just like 1 inch off here. We have a punch that has multiple images on it. And if we're going to cut out 7 hearts, it's much nicer to not waste as much cardstock if we just put a strip in here and cut. And if you alter it back and forth like this, you can fit those hearts a lot closer to each other. And gosh, I think we'll be able to get all 7 of them from this one strip. Okay, and I'm going to turn it this way because it's getting kind of messy the other way. So there are our 7. How many do we have? 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay? So that's how quickly it takes to get them. Push those onto the floor and sweep them up later. And now we need, and you can see that's where those little scraps are right there. And now we need a heart here. There's our 7th one, and we need a heart here. So we're going to stamp and punch from this piece. And because our punch is aligned in this way when we punch it out, we want to come in with our images from our stamp set from the bottom. When you get a stamp set that's photopolymer, it's ready to go. All you need to do is peel the back layer off. We're going to grab our stamps that we want, and I'm going to use that one. I'm going to use this floral one, this tiny little hearts, and then we have our sentiment that talks about friendship, and I think this is the one, yes. So we're going to use 5 stamps. You can actually stick these to the back cover if you want to. I like to keep them separate because then I can take them out and not have to deal with the box. But if you want to, you can peel these and cling them right inside the box like that. All right, and that's how you can store them. I know I should get used to it, but I love being able to take the plastic out. Okay, now we're going to use our blocks. Excuse me. We're going to use our larger 2 blocks. Actually, I think I have 3 larger blocks. I'm using C-size blocks. It says the letter C on the side here for those, and then the tinier ones. And do you see how I'm picking them up? I'm not placing the stamp directly on like that because if you have one that's got a little bit of manipulation to it, like if it's long and skinny, it might go on in a more distorted way than it was intended. And if it's supposed to match up with the die, then it won't die cut. So I like to have my stamp laid down upside down and then grab it. I also like to have it so it's not symmetrical or not lined up with the edges. So you see how I did the sentiment here? I put it on there diagonally instead of lined up. Okay? I like it diagonally because then I'm not looking at the edges of my block when it's time to stamp it down. So on that note, let's go ahead and stamp our verse in our shaded spruce color. You open the ink pads like a compact, you just lift and you scoot it into place. And we'll just tap, tap, tap. Now, if you are a photopolymer user, know that there's no cushion between the rubber portion of the stamp and the block. And if you want that cushion that red rubber stamps give you, you could grab a Stampin' Pierce mat and use that underneath what you're stamping. All right, we're going to stamp that down, line it up. I love photopolymer because you can see directly through it. I think I might have put that way too far to the top. That's okay. We're just going to go with it. It still looks good. And then we want to stamp a couple of these hearts onto our scrap paper. And remember how the punch goes. It's going to go in like this. So we want to have our stamping down towards the bottom. We're going to do 2 of these. We'll stamp one here and one a little bit further away. And then we're going to come in with a lighter color. Just going to set this off to the side for a minute because we're going to use it again. This is our mint macaron color. And we're going to do what's called stamping off, or second generation. So this is first generation. This is second generation, third generation. Okay, you can see how it's getting lighter and lighter and lighter. We want second generation or stamped off ink. So you can stamp it off onto your grid paper, or you can just do it where you had it here, wherever. And then you can come in, and I think I had it positioned. I think I did, like this. Did I have it like that? I think so. So I'm just going to stamp it inside my heart, like that. Oh, I messed up. I forgot. We're going to use Post-it notes. We're just going to put a Post-it note right here along that thick edge of the heart, and we're going to do that again. So yes, we'll have to use the other side of the paper. Ink it up, stamp it off, and now we're going to come in with our design. See, now there's nothing outside the edge. That's what I wanted. Let's say you don't have a lot of extra white paper and this was your only scrap. Flip it over. Flip it over, right? We can use the other side. I'm inking up my other heart now. Stamping that down. Putting my sticky note or Post-it note here. Inking this up in the mint. Stamping it off. And coming in with our floral image. There we go. I thought it looked better having just a real faint floral in there than using the, thanks Terry, than using the darker or the full color first generation mint macaron. It just, I don't know, for some reason it was just too dark with this. So you actually can get multiple shades of colors from one or two ink pads. Let's punch this piece out. And push all these scraps onto the floor. Okay, so you can't see through it. So all the issues that I had on the back side are gone. Let's go ahead and start adhering. Now, if you want to make it quick, you could take and put your seal adhesive directly onto these little panels here like this. Shoot, 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 shoot. But watch out for the in-betweens because you don't want your adhesive to show through. So you can go just like that and go like this. Connect, connect. Pretty darn quick. Makes it a lot easier than trying to put it directly on the back side of all those tiny little pieces. Okay, and then we'll do the same thing to the bottom. And I'm trying to keep them centered between where the score lines are on the base cardstock. You could use glue, or you could use the tape runner type adhesive like I have, whatever is most comfortable. Oh, look at, I did 9. Those of you that were counting, you knew I did 9, right? I did 9. Silly me. Keeping the direction the same way the whole time as I'm laying these down. Whoopsie. Oh, now we got to look at it again. Flip it that way. Oh, that one's short. That's why. Because it was underneath and I didn't know. I didn't get 9. I got 8. That one was tiny. Okay, there. And then this piece. Actually, yeah, we're going to stick this down next because this one does not get the ribbon around it. And we will put that right there. Okay, now we're going to take and put together our front little section here. And our front section has this piece, but it's also got a little ribbon around it. So we're going to grab one of my favorite ribbons, and it's almost out, you guys. It is our white glittered organdy ribbon. Is that pretty or what? Right? So we're going to grab about 8 inches of it. So there's our 6-ish, 7-ish, 8-ish. Grab our snips. Where's my one that has the ribbon on it? Oh, here it is. And And start from the back side. And I don't put adhesive on my ribbons as I'm tying them. I wait till after if I want to. It just allows me more flexibility on where I want that ribbon to be when I shift it. But you have to be able to hold it down. And I have this lovely ring finger that just is so talented at holding down the knotted part of the ribbon so it doesn't move on me when I'm doing the other portion of my bow, of my knot or whatever. So if you have struggles with that, you could certainly tape it down. But now I can kind of shift it to make sure it's centered. And then I'll just trim off the ends. And I like to trim at an angle when I trim off ends. I think it gives a cleaner look. We're going to tuck this heart, and it's just going to go straight on with adhesive. We're going to tuck that heart into and underneath, like so. I'm going to shift this down just a little bit, like that. And now we can stick this onto the shaded spruce base, the layer right here in the middle. Okay. Let's do the outside next. The outside, or the back, I should say, because here's the back of the card, is decorated with these two panels. And I'm just running it the length of, but you could do one in each corner if you want to. Let's flip it over and decorate it like this first. So those just fit right in. Oh, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Hang on. If you pull it off, kind of close to the surface, like, you know, you're right there and you shift it, you can get it off. This is strong adhesive, you guys. Okay, there we go. We've got our two panels. But for decorating, I recommend holding it this way as you decorate. Okay? All right, so we're going to put this heart here, and we're going to stick this heart here. And I believe, yep, I'm doing it flat because I want to be able to have not a lot of bulk in the card when I'm mailing it. Now you could certainly add it with dimensionals or whatever, but I'm just going to add them like this so that they're straight up and down and they're centered in this panel. Because this way, when I flip the card over, it still looks appropriate with how they've been laid out. If I angled it, like if I stuck this down and I went like that, because of how it looked on the front side, it might not look as good when I flip it over onto the back side. Okay? So you see how angling it here might have looked pretty cool, but we're just going to push it down flat here. Inside is next, and we're going to start with stamping, but we're going to lay our hearts down. So we're going to flatten out our card again, just make sure it's nice and flat, and we're going to lay down these little punched out hearts where we kind of feel they look best. And if you see my eyeballs looking away and going to, over there, it's because I'm looking at the finished card. I always like to make my finished card that I'm demonstrating for you similar to the one that you're going to see in the photographs on the blog post that's going to go live, right? We don't have like two different cards. It's hard. Okay, so there's kind of where I want those to go, which means now we can lay down our stamp images. I'm going to use the outline with the shaded spruce ink, and I'm going to do a set of hearts here, and a set of hearts down here, and I think I'll do a couple more over here, so we'll do one about there, and another one right about there. Okay. Now I can take and fill them in with the more solid ones. So we have another one with the mint macaron ink, but we're going to stamp off. So we're going to remove some of that, and then we can just fill it in, and oh, the joys of photopolymer. Look at how lovely that is. We can just line it up and fill it in super quick and fast. Gotta love it. Oops, did I stamp that one off? I don't remember, so I'm going to do it again. One more over here, like that. Close up your ink pads when you're working and you're not stamping. When you're not stamping, you don't want to accidentally lay something down over on your work surface on top of an open ink pad, because especially if it's your finished card. And then your stamps, we're going to clean them off. So let's bring in our Stampin' Mist and our scrub. So yes, keep your workspace tidy as you go. This is the scrub, Stampin' Scrub. It's got two sides to it. I may have an older version. I haven't bought one of these in a long time because they last forever. You have a scrubby side, a scrubby side. You get one side wet, the other side dry. All right. We do have something called a chamois too, but I'm a neat freak. And when I use the chamois, I feel like I'm getting ink on my fingers. So I prefer this. You just spray your Stampin' Mist onto one side, and you can dilute it with water if you want to. It's up to you if you want it to last a little bit longer. But yeah, you just wash and dry. So we're going to wash and dry all of our stamps, and then we can put them away. Super fast, quick way to clean off our stamps. Gotta love it. So if I haven't demonstrated that for you in a long time, I apologize. I especially apologize to beginning crafters because it is a handy tool to have. And you'll want to keep your stamps conditioned and clean. Now, if you just want to clean them off with like, gosh, I don't know, like a washcloth or something, you can certainly do that with our classic inks because they're all water-based inks, and that will work. But over time, it's kind of nice to collect the Stampin' Mist and the scrub. Baby wipes work too. A lot of people invest in baby wipes to clean off their stamps. But you don't want to have ones with really high alcohol content because that can dry out the rubber. Okay. Oh, and you're going to see some staining too. Once in a while, you're going to get some pinkish or other colored tones in your photopolymer stamps. It's perfectly normal. Photopolymer is a porous rubber, much more porous than the red rubber in our cling stamps. And so you get some staining in it, but it shouldn't affect your stamping as long as you've cleaned off your stamps. Okay, we're getting there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the hearts, but I'm not going to add them with seal adhesive. We are going to add them with glue dots. And why is that? Because I didn't want to have a flat to the surface of the card type of heart. When you're doing it with glue dots, it has a slight lift to it. And it's not as much of a lift as you would get with dimensional. So that's why I chose these. And now you can see when I lay this on here, you can see that there's a bit of a shadow to it, but not as much as you would get with a dimensional. So we're going to stick these on next. And I just kind of went back and forth with the design of, you know, because the hearts have two different directions basically, right? So I went back and forth with that. I was also cognizant of, ooh, that's a fancy word for aware. I was also aware that when a card is folded, you know, you have to be able to have no cardstock going between. You can have your stamp images going down the crease, but you don't want to have those pieces going on the creased areas. So, and I just kind of did some up and down look with the hearts. Isn't it fun how they're kind of popping up just a slight amount, but not a whole bunch? So it's kind of the in-between of a dimensional and, you know, seal or glue. Okay, we got two more to add here. And then the fun part begins. You guys, oh my gosh, those sequins, I think they need to be a staple item. I don't know if Stampin' Up! Will keep them around. I would love to see them in even more colors because I just love them. Let me bring them in. They are the pastel adhesive back sequins. If they had these in the color of the ribbon, the white glittered organdy ribbon, if they had like clearish ones, right? Oh my gosh, I just love these. And they come in 2 sheets, so you get a lot for your money. I believe they're like $8 in the US. So if you've got like a whole sheet of small and a whole sheet of large, it's pennies for all of them. It's just so awesome. Okay, let me grab my take your pick tool. That is another tool that you want to have on hand. It's not necessary, but it's helpful. So I'm going to grab the little cover off the end of each. This one would be great for if I have to put my sequin in a different spot. Let's say I stick it down and I don't want to move it. I can pick it back up with this. But this is going to grab my sequins and lay them where I want them. So hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. I'm going to move that punch out of the way so you can see the card a little bit better. Okay, so here we go. Let's start with the blue. I've got a couple large blues. I've got one that is kind of down here. I'll just start sticking these on. Did you hear, you guys, that Celebration has enlarged its offerings? We have more to offer now with Celebration. I'm now going to the small. So you see how I'm just pushing and lifting? Just push and lift. So I'm going to show you those items after this card is done. I'll show you some more choices that you have for redeeming. And if you don't know about Celebration, it's an awesome time of year. It's usually January, February. And what you get to do is pick free product with qualifying purchases. So every $50 gets you a free product in the US. Okay, now we're going to move to the pink. I'm going to grab, oops. Haha. Okay, let me do that again. I'm going to grab a large pink. And this one I'm going to slip under here. So just a little bit of it peeks out. So yeah, in the US, it's $50 increments. And if it's free with a $50 item, free with a $50 order, then it's a level 1 item. If it is free with a level 2, then you have to make a purchase of $100 or more to get to that. Okay, let's move to the small pinks. Small pinks, we've got one here. And I think there's another one over to the left down here. Okay, now we're going to move to the gold. So if you had a $150 order, you could get like a level 2 and a level 1. Or you could get 3 level 1s, right? So many fun choices too. So yeah, I think I think I want to lift that now. So I can dig under here. Just kind of shimmy it back and forth and position it a little bit more where I want it. I'm going to grab the small one, stick it up here. And I used about the same number of sequins on each card. This one I'm going to tuck under. Oh, I might not be able to. I think I glued that puppy down really far, so it's just going to sit off to the side. Okay, and then I don't know. I think that one's small. This one is tucked under here just a tad. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. Yep, I used 5 sequins of each. You could put sequins on the back side or the front if it's closed. However you want to picture this, again, you could close it this way or this way. Oh, I wanted to mention that. When I'm looking at my other card, my bunny card, I want to show you how I would recommend doing that once that it folds into the envelope with the sentiment. So look at this bunny card again. So here's my happy and my Easter. So when I squish it, I'm going to fold that one that way and that one that way. And then when they open the card, they can see it says Happy Easter right away. So that was the point of, that. So there, you've got your cards, your 2 different cards. I'll stick them up like that so you can see them over my head. I was going to show you Celebration next, right? So let me show you some Celebration offerings. This is the new flyer. Oh, let me just do a quick smile and see if it will do a screen save. Ah. I try to capture those pictures for my screen saving on Facebook. I know, it's weird. Okay, Celebration. We've offered more things. We've got a couple kits. We've got ribbon, and actually that's 2 rolls of ribbon for 1 pick. It says 2 spools up here. Couple punches, couple embossing folders, some decorative masks, which are like stencils, a pack of 12 by 12 designer paper, which is to die for. And then for level 2, we have a bundle of stamps and dies. Let me show you those in person. This is the level 2, Eden's Garden with the Eden dies. And sorry, you don't get the magnet sheet with it, but that's stamp and storage, by the way, and the little folder thingy. But you get the dies. So that's level 2. 2 of these spools. This is the ribbon. You can see how thick it is. It's really nice, hardy ribbon. Really pretty stuff. And if you fray it, you can get like fun threads of prettiness. Okay, so there's that. There's embossing folders. This is the 3D Hive embossing folder. And then there's another one, which I haven't even opened yet because it's totally new. I redeemed my Celebration for this. So Into the Clouds, really pretty. Then we have punches, the Songbird Punch, and this one here, I forgot what it's called. Essential Tag. I knew it said tag in it. And then there are kits. And you can have the Let's Party kit or the Kindness Cards kit. I mean, look at that. It's a whole kit. Super awesome. Let's go back to prizes really quick too, because now that I'm down on my desktop, I want to show you some past prizes that people have not claimed yet, you guys. Last week, let's see here. We had last week Connie York, or was that last week? That was, yeah, last week. The Afterlive winner, Connie York from Facebook. If you are hearing your name, you'll want to reach out. We have a prize for you. It's the leftovers that I have from the Timeless Greetings and the Love Treats kits. Those would be yours if you get a hold of me. If you live outside the US, I can send you a tutorial. I just can't send product, by the way, you guys. But yes, you can win either way. We have a half a pack of the Dandy Designs paper. Oh my gosh. A half of this pack goes to Carol Underwood. That was drawn, her name was drawn, YouTube Afterlive winner. It was drawn on January 23rd. And then we have, sorry, I'm just making sure these prizes get claimed, you guys, because they're going to be, I'm going to erase names pretty soon. We have Phyllis Wendt, Afterlive winner from YouTube, and you get the Sending Support stamp set. And then Betty Oatsval from YouTube Afterlive winner from January 11th, you get a variety pack of designer paper, one of those bundles there. For today's prize, by the way, it's the tutorial that we have that we're offering from our All-Star group. Or if you already have the tutorial because you've either purchased it or you earned it from an order or something, then you can pick from one of these celebration items. So yeah, so that's going to be the choice for today's winner. Last week's winner, we had two more winners from last week that I drew just this morning from the Afterlive commenters. And so those names I'm going to pull up on the screen here, and then we're going to let Trisha announce the winners for today if she hasn't already. Okay, so from YouTube Afterlive winner, we have Karen K. I hope you recognize your icon there, your photo. Thank you for the sweet comment. And then from Facebook Afterlive commenter, we have Patty Sharkey. So you two are the Afterlive winners. And the prize from last week, oops, hang on. You had a choice between the Kindness card kit or the Let's Party card kit. So you get a choice of those, because I'm accumulating a lot of kits. You don't get it in the box, by the way. It's cheaper for me to send the other way. Okay, it looks like we're saying congratulations to Polly and Barbie. So I'm going to scroll back through the comments here and try to tag Trisha's comment. There it is. And we'll get rid of that little thing there. So Polly Libby and Barbie Cerna, you are the live winners from today. Congratulations to both of you. You get to have either the All-Star tutorial for the Country Floral Lane suite, or from our All-Star group, or if you don't want that emailed to you because you've already earned it or purchased it, then you can pick from one of those celebration sets that I just shared. Okay, how do you shop? If you like this product, there are links to all the products in the description of the video. Also, the blog post, again, will go live at 3 p.m. So in just a little over 3 hours, you'll be able to click on that link and you can see a visual supply list. You can see photos of all the angles of the card. You'll be able to print off that PDF, and measurements will be listed there too. All that you'll need will be there. And you can then, of course, on my blog, you can click any of the buttons that say shop. You can also click any shop buttons that you see on my Facebook page or my YouTube channel, and it will take you to my online store so you can shop. If you are a demonstrator, shop from yourself. And yay for those of you that are signing up right now, because you get to pre-order products in your kit if you want. I'm going to show those at the end in case you want to stick around for just a little bit more. I'll try to go quickly through them. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do that in a live later because we are hitting the hour mark here. I have a feeling I'll need to go live tomorrow in my Facebook group or something. So I hope you join me again. I can show you some pre-order products. My Facebook group, by the way, if you are on Facebook, it's called Stamp Your Art Out with Rachel. Oh, that's my Facebook page. Hang on. This is my group. Stamp Your Art Out group. They all have the same name. So join me there. Actually, I think you know what? Oh my gosh, Rachel, you should have made these decisions before you went live. I'm going to go live on my page. Because when I'm live on my page, people who aren't in the group yet can get there and you don't have to wait for approval just in case I forget to approve you. So I'll go live on the page. Okay? So join me on Facebook. I have to set the time. I'll think about it. Okay, what else do I want to tell you? So yes, people who get the kit now, they can get pre-order products. I'm going to show those in the live. I'm also going to show some past cards that I've been getting from some of you. Thank you so much for sending me cards. I love it. It's so nice to get all these fun designs and ideas in the mail. Sometimes I get inspired by them and I share a version of them in my lives. So I appreciate that. We're going to go live again next week on February 15th at 11 a.m. Central Time. And I'm going to be showing that pre-order stuff in some way in the live next week. And those items will be available for everybody to purchase in March on March 1st. So what else do I need to tell you? I think I've covered it all. I've covered it all. Yay! 2 more days to get in on the February Paper Pumpkin Kit. Don't miss out. Paper Pumpkin's fun. If you don't know what I'm talking about, visit my YouTube channel and check out my Paper Pumpkin videos. Thank you for the thumbs up. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for joining and commenting and all of that fun stuff. I appreciate you all. And now I would like you all to go and stamp your art out. Bye-bye, everyone.